Ben Ross, ladies and gentlemen, 174 NRL games between 02 and 13. He played, of course, in that premiership winning side with the Panthers. Came off the bench in that grand final, the Hare Bears. We remember that. What a brilliant game that was. And Sattler, of course, making that tackle. All right, Ben, thanks so much for joining us, mate.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
This year's NRL, we're just a couple of weeks in. What has stood out for you so far?
Mate, honestly, I've watched every game intently. It's been quite phenomenal to see that even the lower ranked sides have actually put in a really good effort against higher placed opponents. And it's sort of panning out to the way we expected, especially with Panthers Broncos this weekend. I feel it'll be a very physical contest.
Yeah, what a matchup. Thursday night footy. You got to love it, don't you?
Yeah. As I said, I'm quite excited about the footy being back. I had a pretty boring summer. I really do miss my footy.
Yeah, is the game faster? I keep asking everyone that we talk to that has played, because you have the best eye and the best feeling for this.
Yeah, the game has definitely improved in its speed, and I suppose it's really taken the big man out of the game. I know we do still talk about that bigger fella, but back when I played, I know there were a few of the boys, especially in that Warriors side that I used to play against, that they were hitting at the 120, 130 kilo mark. But now we're seeing some of the best front rows in the game sitting around about 100 kilos. So the game is considerably quicker, and people are a lot more fitter and agile.
Does it need to be slowed down a little? Because one of the greatest things about it, when I started playing, you had Big Sam Backo, you had Brick with Eyes, you had Marty Bell, you had these guys that were different kind of body shapes. It seems a shame if we lose those to the game.
Yeah, it's funny. You've got an argument on both sides of the field there. I love the bigger fellas thing. I am that big fella that needs to have a bit of a rest. But really, you're cutting out that, I suppose, that smaller Preston Campbell type player, and a Sean Johnson, for example, that if we keep the bigger guys in the game and make the game a lot slower, then they don't get to do what they do best and take advantage of that, I suppose, that less agile kind of front rower that may be tinkering at the end of the half and breathing pretty heavy, that their pure brilliance comes into it, their footwork, their speed, as I said, and it just opens up the game. And I think that's what a lot of the fans want to see now, is that kids want to see points, they want to see phenomenal tries, and we do. We see some of those fantastic aerobatic tries that they're doing at the moment. It only comes because other players are fatigued and the game is so fast.
Well, none better than Xavier Coates, and just the sheer physics of what his body did, flying through the air at that speed, from that distance, at that height. One of the greatest rule changes, I keep saying, is that bringing the corner flag into play. Just genius that was.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you there, that it's opened up the field that little bit more with that corner flag coming into play. And I find that it's opened up to a new style of player, especially around the wingers. But everyone's talking about how great a try that was, and it's the try of the year. But then again, you talk about Tommy Dearden taking that one big hit up for a try in the Cowboys game, and every person sees it differently. But I say a little fella, as we keep talking about, the game's quicker. These little fellas are doing tougher stuff these days, and really enjoying the way the game is being handled at the moment.
Ben, and just in the last couple of decades, you stopped playing over 10 years ago now. Just in terms of the people that you associate with, that you bump into, that recognise you, all of that, are people talking about the competition and the game more? Do you notice that?
Yeah, and it's funny that I suppose the first 2 weeks of this year, we haven't really spoken about the games themselves. We're more talking about what's happened off the field, or political things within the game, and I think that's really taken the focus off some really good football. But then again, you talk about the heroics of players and how good they've been, and the difference they're making for each side. And obviously we're seeing the grand final replay this week, and it's going to be, I suppose, a really good battle, even though Adam Reynolds is out, and James Fisher-Harris, who's one of my ultimate favourite players. It'll still be a great battle.
Yeah, look, and obviously the launch in Vegas was, in some ways the perfect way to kick it off. It's a razzmatazz entertainment business, isn't it? I'm not so sure whether they get a foothold over there, but I just love the occasion. I just love the idea of it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, and it's we need to make this game greater and spread it wider. I know we talk about it's a national rugby league and it's in New Zealand and the east coast of Australia, but they've got to start spreading it, and they've done that well by moving it over to Vegas in the bright lights. And the 2 games that were played were phenomenal. They really set a great standard for the year ahead, and I know that a lot of Americans stood up and took note, but the game itself, it's a great product, and as you said, we talk about it a lot, and I think it's going to do well over there.
Can your Penrith side go 4 out of 4? That would just be unprecedented. Well, apart from the 60s, the St George lot, of course, yeah.
Oh, exactly, yeah, and it's one of those things. I look at the side every week and see who's in and out, and obviously being a big Panthers fan myself, I do hope that they go their 4th year around, but I think it'll be very hard. There's a lot of teams vying for that, I suppose, top spot, and on their day, anyone can really knock anyone off. And it's just, we talk about the injury tolls. With the game being faster, there's a lot more injuries as well in regards to the soft tissue damage and that type of thing. So, yeah, it'll weigh it up. But I think everyone would love to see Penrith win, especially if you're a Penrith fan. But then again, there's the namesakers that sort of go against them and hope that they don't. So it's going to be exciting.
How does the body recover after you've played well over a decade at that level, playing in the position that you did? Do you have aches and pains these days?
Yeah, it's funny enough. I actually just stepped in the office and we spoke about this exact thing. So where I train, and it's the aches and pains. So where I train, there's a recovery centre there. So I continuously doing rehab of my shoulders, my knees, my ankles and my neck. But it's a continuous thing. Football, as we talk about, is a brutal sport. You play it because you love it more than anything else. And I wouldn't have changed anything that I did with my career and the way that I played. But yeah, I definitely feel it now. I'm in my 40s now, and I feel like I've got a body of a 60 or a 70-year-old on some days.
Do you and Gorden ever get together?
Yeah, we catch up occasionally, just depending on what games we're at or whether we're in at Foxtel or whatever it may be. But I remember my career starting off with that infamous fight with Gorden. But we sort of buried the hatchet there and get along quite well, do a number of charitable events together.
Have you ever looked at that footage and thought, Ben, what the hell are you doing, mate?
Every day, and we laugh about it. I think when it first happened, you can see it in the video. I think, what am I doing? And I try to get away, and that's the regret I have, is that I should have run faster. Instead, no, he ended up grabbing me and belted me out about 100 times. It was quite good.